So for the last several weeks, we've been at least trying hard to look at some of the warning signs, right, that Jesus says. He told us, do not, right? Do not, when you pray, do not pray like the Pharisees who want attention. Do not fast like them either. In your spiritual life, do not do that. Don't try to get attention. Do not let people know about your financial stuff, like when you're giving. Do not do that. And these are very strong warnings that I think most of us just blow past. Like we don't even care. Because we ignore all kinds of warning lights anyway. On our car, whatever. Like the little gas light comes on, we don't care. Or a little engine light thing is like, oh, that's cute. We don't know what that is. So we blow past a lot of stuff, even from our mom and dad. Like they tell us things. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, why not? Oh, all right. Why can't I touch the stove? I guess you can if you want to. Like, no good parent says that. No good parent says, like, yeah, go ahead. If you want to do that, just go ahead and do that. Because that's just crazy town, right? It's crazy town. So Jesus tells us some things, especially when it comes to our spiritual life. Don't do this. And all these things here that he's addressing feeds our ego. He's like, even when you're being spiritual, you have to really guard yourself. If you're doing stuff to get attention, you're just not going to get the reward from your Father. You might get the reward from some people in the church, like, hey, you're really good at that. Hey, you're really good at that. Hey, you're really good at that. But we have to be very careful because we crave that. We crave somebody telling us in the spiritual world, you're doing a great job. Oh, I love that. Oh, you're so great. And so it's we have to be very, 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 very cautious about that. And one of the things I would just even say in your own home, that one of the most important things you can do is just be real with your faith, so that when you come to church on Sunday, your kids are not confused on Monday. Oftentimes we can put a pretty good show, right? We can put a pretty good show on Sunday, sing the songs, do the things, maybe give some money, but when we get home, it's just a completely different world. So the kids sniff that out, and they go like, right, and they can figure that out. So be very, very careful of that. So here's one last warning, and this is a doozy, perhaps the most difficult of all, and but also I think one that will help us probably the most. Matthew 6:31. So do not worry. So you're like, okay, easier said than done, right? So do not worry, saying, what are we going to eat? What are we going to drink? What are we going to wear? By the way, that's Vegas the whole time. Hey, where are we going to eat? What do we want to drink? What should I wear? By the way, crazy town. Oh my goodness, they picked that out. They're wearing that. Okay. I can't unsee that now. I just can't do anything. But listen to this. For the pagans, Christ-following people run after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things are going to be added to you as well. So Jesus he diagnoses the problem that we have. We worry about some stuff. In Christ followers, we shouldn't worry about what we're going to eat, what we're going to drink, what we're going to wear, because our Father takes care of us. What we were told today about, like, hey, having a childlike faith, that's great if our dad and mom are good to us. But kids worry all the time if their dad and their mom are not good to them. They don't know. The struggle is. And he's pointing out here that that's what it's like if you don't worship Jesus. He's a good, good Father, right? We know that. He's not going to hurt us, not going to rebuke us, not going to neglect us. He's going to take care of my basic needs. But if you choose something else, you will always be worried. You will always be worried about stuff. It's just our nature, because we don't know who we can trust. But when you can trust the good, good Father, right, he takes care of our needs. It's pretty simple. So let's take a look at Matthew 13:22. As for what was sown among thorns, this is the one who hears This is the one who hears the word, but the cares of the world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word and proves it unfaithful. So there's all these distractions out there in the world that choke us and causes us to worry. It's the distractions, and there's lots of distractions out there, right? All kinds of distractions that get us off course. And once we take a little turn, worry creeps in so fast. Worry creeps in very, very fast. So Jesus helps us out, and he gives us some practical reasons or practical ways to deal with worry, because it's not just enough to say, do not do this, right? So he doesn't just say that. Do not, right? And by the way, these do not statements are for our good. They're for our protection. He's not doing this to be a mean person. He's not doing this to be a drill sergeant. He's simply there to help us. Do not do this. It's for your own protection. So he says, one of the ways we deal with worry, and we should do this, is just look around. And he says, first of all, we should look at the birds. Matthew 6:26. Look at the birds. They don't plant or harvest or store food in barns, and your heavenly Father feeds them. Aren't you far more valuable? And this is a great question. Aren't you more valuable to him than they are? And for some of us, we don't think we're very valuable at all. We don't. Our identity is not secure enough, and we don't know who we are, and we don't think we're very valuable at all. And that's why we, what? I don't know. I don't get it. But this is a great question. Aren't you more valuable? I don't know. I don't know. And so what he is pointing out is, yes, you are. So the first way we deal with worry is let's just go outside and look around. And it's hard. If you go outside, you're probably going to see a bird. And that's what he says. Go out there and look at a bird. And I like to take pictures of birds. I'm kind of a birding guy. I don't put myself in the birder category. Those people are very serious people. They love birds. They care about birds. And usually when I go out and try to take pictures of birds, I meet people. And one of the guys I met, Dave Cunningham, he used to come to our church 30 plus years ago, but he is a big birder. He cares. I asked him, how often do you go look for birds? And he said, every day. Every day? He said, yep, every day. I go out and look for birds. Every day? Yep, every day. And I didn't believe him. And then he pulled up his little app thing, and it showed me how many different birds that he had seen this year in Nebraska. It was well over 400 different birds. Not just bird species things. It's not just like, hey, I saw 18 sparrows today. It's like this sparrow and this sparrow and this sparrow and this sparrow and this sparrow. And Dave can hear, he can hear a bird and he knows what it is. And that's serious stuff. And I have a little app on my phone now that tells me what the bird sound is. All you got to do is it hears it and go, oh, that's a worm-eaten warbler. And so one day I was going to Towel Park. It's a great little birding spot for little warblers. And I pull up there, and I'm going to take pictures of these birds. I hope to see some. And my friend Dave is there, and he goes, are you here to see the worm-eaten warbler? Now, I don't want to look like I'm an idiot, so I said, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I did not know what a worm-eaten warbler was. I don't even care, right? But he's very passionate. He says, the worm-eaten warbler is right over there. How do you, I heard it. I did a little research on the worm-eaten warbler. You know what the worm-eaten warbler doesn't do? The worm-eaten warbler does not eat worms. I don't know who named the worm-eaten warbler, but it was an unfortunate naming thing. So here in the state of Nebraska, this is a big birding place. I didn't even realize that it was so important, but it is. Hundreds of thousands of snow geese are going to show up in our state over the next couple of weeks, and they're migrating from down south up into the north, and so they're going to show up, and then there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of these snow geese, and they're just flying around, and mostly, in the middle of our state. But there'll be a whole lot of geese around here as well. And it's spectacular. And it's intoxicating. It's just fascinating that they show up. And then after that, the sandhill cranes show up here as well. 500,000 plus sandhill cranes make their way between Grand Island and Kearney for the most part. Some will be a little bit scattered around there, but right there, it funnels right there. And it is the greatest wildlife migration in North America. It is spectacular. And most people in our state don't even know about it, because you know what you can't do to a sandhill crane in Nebraska? You can't shoot it. So why would I go look at it if I can't shoot it? Is what we think, right? Okay. But you don't shoot them. Here in Nebraska, you get in big trouble, right? But it is a great thing, and I love going out there every year and seeing it. Right after that, these little warblers show up, and they show up from South America. Most of them, they're in Mexico, and then they come up here. And they're beautiful, little, very colorful birds, and they show up every year, and for the most part, they just come into the same area. And their brain is like this. I mean, they don't have a big brain. So I don't know. How do you find your way from South America to Omaha, Nebraska? Like, we struggle going downtown. Like, what are we doing? So they figure it out, and it is absolutely beautiful. Now, my favorite bird probably of all time, at least in Nebraska, is the prairie chicken. And you may not be familiar with the prairie chicken, but it's a wonderful little bird. And every spring, the prairie chicken guys try to find a girl. And that is their goal. And they show up on this place called a lek, which is their dance hall. And they fly in there, and they do their little dancing. They stomp their feet, and they fight each other, and they puff out their cheeks, and all to attract a female prairie chicken. For the most part, the female prairie chickens don't care. I mean, they don't even pay attention. If one flies into that lek, the whole place goes bonkers. Like, they're going bonkers. It's a lot like a junior high dance at that point. Like, a girl comes out, and the guy's going, ha! You know, you're trying. So, and what happens at the junior high dance is the same thing. The girls ignore the boys, and they just go on their way. And once again, there's lots of disappointment there. So he said, look at these birds. They don't worry about stuff. And that's one of the reasons I like the prairie chicken, is because it doesn't migrate. It stays here all the time. So it was here last week. It didn't go, oh gosh, we should go to Texas. And they just stay here. And they're hardy birds, and they're absolutely wonderful. And I think that's one of the reasons I like them the most, is they're in Nebraska. They get us. So then he turns his attention to flowers. In Matthew chapter 6:28 says, and why worry about your clothing? So the first one is, why do you worry about your food? He'll take care. Look at the birds. And says, why do you worry about your clothing? Look at the lilies of the field and how they grow. They don't work or make their clothing, yet Solomon, in all his glory, was not dressed as beautifully. So Solomon's a king. He's got some pretty good clothes. And if God cares so wonderfully for wildflowers that are here today and thrown into the fire tomorrow, he will certainly care for you. And this haunting question, why do you have so little faith? So this is a faith issue, right? This is a faith issue. It's not a clothing issue. It's a faith issue. I do like flowers. One of my favorite places in the Midwest is a place called Deal's Orchard. It's in Iowa. It is an apple orchard, and they sell sweet corn and all kinds of cool stuff. But they have a zinnia field, about 2+ acres of zinnias. It's a spectacular flower. And when the zinnias bloom in late August or so, it looks like a magic carpet. And it just goes on over the hill. It's so spectacular. And there's butterflies, and there's hummingbirds, and it is just absolutely wonderful. And as you stand in that place, your worries go away. It just goes away for a little while. And you realize that if God cares like this for a flower, like he can make it spectacular like a flower, aren't you more valuable? And now you have to answer that question. Are you more valuable than a flower or not? That's a good question. So we look around. Also, we need to look to God's word. In Luke chapter 10, it says this: as Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem. So they're They're going to Jerusalem, and this is not for vacation. It's not for a good weekend. This is for Passover, which is a spiritual celebration for them. But it was way more than that. They're going there because Jesus is going to die, and Jesus knows it, but nobody else knows it. So they're making their way to, and this is the last time that Jesus will be with his friends. So they come to a village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. So she's a follower. She loves Jesus, and her family does as well. And this is a safe place for Jesus to go. Mary and Martha, for the most part, are not high-maintenance people. But Martha kind of gets a little high maintenance here. Her sister, Mary, sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he taught. So Jesus is in there, and the disciples are in there, and he's doing some teaching. And Mary sits down to listen. Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus. Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister sits here while I do all the work? I'm taking a little liberty there, but I think something might be happening. Tell her to come and help me. And I don't know what's happening here necessarily in the family dynamic here, but Mary's very concerned about some stuff. The dinner, everything needs to be good. And she gets no help. Like, her sister's not helping her. In fact, her sister's just sitting there. Tell her to help me. All right. Mary is distracted. Easy to do. And she's doing good things. It's not like she's not doing good things. Actually, she's serving Jesus. She's serving Jesus. You would think, hey, if anything, Jesus would say, Martha, you are so wonderful to me. You're so great. I love your service is so, your hospitality, all that stuff. She doesn't get, like that doesn't come out of his mouth. She was kind of hoping that something would, hey, you're doing a great job. Actually, Mary, if you could help her, we're kind of busy and kind of let get on with this. But he doesn't say that. And there's lots of distractions. In fact, a lot of the distractions in our world are good things, not necessarily bad things. Even church can be a distraction. This is weird. Even church, even serving Jesus can be a distraction. Hey, Jesus, look at me. Look at me. I'm doing some good stuff here. And once again, I'm serving you. Look at me. Why aren't there more people serving, right? And then we get a little bent out of shape in the church. There should be more people. There should be more people. Look at me. They should actually be like me. And I think that's what Martha was saying. Actually, if Mary could be a little bit more like me, we'd all be happier. How often do we choose the distractions over listening to Jesus? We got this thing going on. We got this thing. Our kids are doing this. And, we got that. Just busy. You know what we do? We worry about distractions. Also, we complain about distractions. Luke 10:41, Martha, Martha, Jesus said, you are worried and upset about many things. And so there's probably more going on than just this. But few things are needed, and Jesus boils it right down to us. Few things are needed. In fact, not few, one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. It's haunting words to Martha. You are worried about many things. The reasons they are haunting is pretty sure he could say that right to me. His words to Martha. Mary has actually chosen better. Mary's actually chosen better. Perhaps if he was here today, he would say, I think you guys need to start making better decisions. You're distracted by all kinds of things. Lots of bells and whistles and stuff going on. Not bad stuff. It's just very distracting. And you're not going to hear my voice. You're not going to hear my voice. Carve out some time to hear my voice. Whether it's on a Sunday morning. And by the way, you know this, right? Your worry level oftentimes goes down because you come to church. When you blow it off, your worry level doesn't go down. When you come down for a little, at least for a little while, I'm not saying that this should be your spiritual drug place, like, hey, I'm going to get my fix for a little while, and I'm going to feel better, but it does help me dial it down for a little while so that I can face some of the stuff that I'm going to have to face. Make a better decision. Right? Make a better decision. I got to think differently, and my anxiety level goes a little bit down because you carve some time out on a Sunday, or you carve some time out on a Tuesday night to go to your small group, or you carve some time out in your morning quiet moments to talk to God rather than to check your phone. So, another thing we need to do is to think differently. If we're going to deal with worry, we got to think differently. Worry takes place in our mind. Philippians 4 says, don't worry about anything. Instead, so he's telling us not to do this. Do not do this. Do not worry about anything. But he replaces it. Instead, pray. Pray about everything. Tell God what you need. Thank him for what he's done. That's the formula. This is the formula. So all you got to do today is tell God what you need. Thank him for what he's done. Pray about your worry things. If you have enough time to worry, you have enough time to pray. And you'll find your worry level inching down a little bit. Because he says this, when you do that, then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will end up guarding my heart and my mind. If I blow past this, right? If I blow past this, it's going to be very difficult for my mind to slow down. Be very difficult for my heart to be protected. So he says, brothers and sisters, one final thought before I let you go. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Keep putting into practice all I learned and received from me, everything you heard from me and saw me doing. Then, listen to this, then the God of peace will be with you. And I think that we all kind of long for that. So it's about a mental and an emotional, spiritual health. If we're going to start thinking differently, it's going to take some energy and maybe some adjustments in our lives. Satan is going to do his very best to get us to think negative thoughts, harmful thoughts, destructive thoughts, dark things. Replacing chaotic thoughts with the goodness of God helps us find peace. I think one of the most prevalent places of chaos in our mind is found on social media. It is a cesspool of chaos. And all you have to do is go on it and invite yourself into that world. So you make a post right now about a political thing, one side or the other, you are inviting chaos. You respond to somebody, you're inviting chaos. Now you might feel better about yourself. I don't know. I'm not sure what the purpose is, if you're hoping to change somebody's mind or not. But what is happening is you're inviting so much chaos into your life. I think if you just stop for a little while and say, I'm not. I'm going to think on better things and different things rather than the chaos that I invite myself into on social media. And I've had to do some of that stuff to take a break or to knock off some social media stuff that I was on. And boy, I tell you what, my anxiety level went down. And it was very helpful. So maybe the best spiritual thing you can do today was to, hey, I'm going to take a break a little bit from the Facebook world or from the Twitter X world or from social media just for a little while. And hopefully things will calm down in our world or whatever. But what it needs to do is just calm down in my world. If we're really struggling with worry, I would say that it's not just enough to turn off social. You might need to find a counselor to help you. If your marriage is in chaos, or if your finances are in chaos, or if your relational world is in chaos, find a Christian counselor to help you deal with things, to give you some tools to deal with it. Because it's hard to figure out, how do I shut my mind off from all this stuff? And it might just be one session. Sometimes it's all I need is one session with a counselor who can help me, guide me and give you some tools to think differently. It might be more extensive, like you might need some heavy lifting kind of stuff. But what I have found is that most people, we can get ourselves into trouble, but we have a hard time getting ourselves out of it. And again, You can call our office or you check our website. We have a list of preferred counselors that can help you with all kinds of different areas of your life. And don't feel weird about it or ashamed about it. In fact, I would say don't blow this off. Like if it's in chaos, don't blow this off. It won't fix itself. You can call our office and maybe meet with one of our pastors as well. And it might just be that. It might just be I need to hear it out loud and talk with somebody who's got a clearer view than me and need a little prayer. And that would be great. So maybe that's what you can do today too, right? Let me close with a different song than Don't Worry, Be Happy. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot thou hast taught me to say, it is well. It is well with my soul. And though Satan should buffet, though trials should come, let this blessed assurance control that Christ has regarded my helpless estate and hath shed his own blood for my soul. And maybe all you can do today is whisper that. Maybe you can't get there. But that's our hope for you today. That in the chaos and the stress and the darkness that you might find yourself in, that maybe perhaps today would be a good day just to seek some support and encouragement. So after our service is over, I invite you to come up if you want prayer, you need some help with that, or if you want to get a list of counselors, we can help you with that. But I want for you to be able to sing this song with such great conviction. It is well with my soul. Right? So let's stand together. We'll close with the Lord's Prayer. And I will say it out loud. If you want to say it out loud, that'd be great. And if you would just join me in saying the Lord's Prayer right now. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom, the power, the glory forever. Amen. All right. Good to see you.